Prime support, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. All right, we're going to wrap things up today. We're running a little bit late today because we got an awesome crowd, a little over 2,000 people. I think it's one of the biggest audiences we've had, actually, since we've flipped things over to sub-only. We're going to wrap things up today with Bant Vannifar. You see this is called Bant Vannifar Walkers in my deck editor. We've got a few Dovins and a couple of Viviens in the main. Most notably, the difference between this configuration and the configuration we've been playing that you can find on my website under the standard decks page is that this list of Bant Vannifar has elected to forego the Explore package, which I'm not really sure if I like that overall. The Explore package with Wild Growth Walker gives you an absurd win rate against a lot of the aggressive decks. You just get that into play and gain a bunch of life and then beat them down very quickly. It also gives you an absurd amount of consistency in the mid-range and control matchups just because the Explore creatures help you hit your land drops so often with an absurd degree of consistency. So let's dive into a league here with this Bant Vannifar configuration and see if the Explore package is something like we feel like we miss and what we think of like the Planeswalkers. Dovin has been a card that I've been impressed with in other decks that we played him in, so I'm excited to see how he feels here. It's been a while since I've been able to watch regularly, but I got sucked in again. Congrats on being picked up by Tempo Storm. Yana, I hope life's treating you well. I hope life's treating you well, Tom. It has definitely been a hot second. The audio just decided to bug out, so I'm going to restart here before we jump into the match. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Hope you're having a good one. There is not a Palaka Worm at the top end. These people are great. Buy their stuff. These people also great. Buy their stuff. Back to your regularly scheduled Magic Arena. All right, let's do it. Would like an Ooze be a good target to tutor for? Yeah, we've played, I believe there's an Ooze on the Bant Vannifar list on my website. I don't know, Ooze I could kind of take or leave. Tristani and Lyra are like often good enough. Do you think Arclight Phoenix will be played that often in Modern today? He will just be the target of the Banhammer? I have no idea. It's basically impossible to predict what they're going to do with the Modern ban list because they're not very transparent about how they make their decisions. I think I mulligan this. I don't know, I'm on the play. I'm going to keep this. If there's something aggressive, Deputy of Detention can maybe slow them down. If I was on the draw, I think I'd snap mulligan this, but on the play, this doesn't seem unreasonable. Just cast any spells as we draw them. Perfect. 2-drop is wonderful. And the great thing about Growth Chamber Guardian is this is a 2-drop that also gives us something to do with our mana on turns 3 and 4 if it lives, because on turn 3 we make it a 4/4 and then go find something to do on turn 4. Probably an Ajani's Pride Mape deck if I had to venture a guess. Yeah, this is Incubation Druid and Llanowar Elves were like also okay draws there. I think I'm gonna leave this back on defense. I don't know that I really want to like deal 3 and take 1, especially if they have something like Pride Mate that's a payoff for gaining life. Yeah, it'll be... I am skeptical that they can print new cards to fundamentally change Modern. I would be genuinely surprised if it's possible to print new cards to change the core function of how Modern works. I played against a similar deck with Memekin earlier and killed them by dealing 40 in 1 turn. That's pretty good. Memekin pumps out some mad crazy damage when it gets going. Does a lot of the damages. Then the question for next turn becomes, do I want to play and fart a second Growth Chamber Guardian, or do I want to play Tristani? The Tristani's not super appealing to get into play because the tokens are only going to be 2/2s, which means they're kind of smaller than these. I mean, as someone who's a big fan of pointing out that fair decks aren't that enjoyable for me in Modern. Green-Black Rock is very reasonable in the format in general. Green-Black Rock very much has the tools to be competitive with Dredge and Phoenix and stuff like that. It's put up a lot of good results recently. And that's not by accident. I think that archetype's very good. Yeah, I mean, free spells are always the problem in Modern, right? Sort of, Phyrexian mana, Manamorphose, Mox Opal, etc. I have been pacified. Unfortunately, we drew our 4th Growth Chamber, so I'm really glad we drew Growth Chamber on 2 because we've not drawn any other spells, huh? Yeah, what's going on, Demir? Running a little bit late today. We had a couple of very generous Cut the Line donations, and we have a great audience hanging out, so running a little bit late. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm very much of the opinion that, like, discussing Modern bans just, like, isn't productive. Having discussions about things where there's no objectivity to it and what you're talking about can't have any realistic first-hand impact is just kind of like yelling at each other and banging your head against a wall. Like, you feel this way, I feel this way. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong. It's just all feelings. King of all trees, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. The one thing I will say about, people often talk about cards like Ancient Stirrings having a deck building restriction, and in my mind, a card only has a deck building restriction if that card didn't exist, the decks would be built differently. So, like, take Tron, for instance. If Tron didn't play Ancient Stirrings, it wouldn't all of a sudden start playing a bunch of cards it wasn't playing before. It would still mostly be the same deck. Yeah, unfortunately, one of the downsides of playing in the event is you get people playing these starter decks that are a little bit newer to the game sometimes. Because the events don't pair based on an MMR, the events pair based on... This was a free attack that I missed, because if they blocked here, they'd have died to these. It pairs based on your record in the event, so sometimes you have to win a match or two to find other meta decks in the events. How did the treasure deck go this morning? The blue-red treasure deck we started with today, if you didn't watch it, that's going to be the deck of the day. I'm pretty sure it was awesome. I was expecting it to be a total dumpster fire and be done in 35 minutes. And then, like, an hour later, we were 4-0. And it was just like, this is great. I'm going to shoot their Pegasus before I kill them. Just to send a message.
Let's tear this place apart.
So let you know what's up. I feel like I should board these in just in case they have a Pride Mate that gets out of control. I'm gonna cut Vivien. Probably just trim Bugler, honestly, if I'm trimming down on creatures. It's probably not unreasonable. Let's chill and chill. Juju Gazby. Thanks for the 34 months. Heading on towards that map and that plot of land. Thanks for keeping me around. This is fine. Needs a couple of lands, but it's got plenty of interaction. You can find the deck list that were played earlier. You can always find all of my decks that I played earlier today on my Stream Decker page here. They'll also all be published in the video descriptions of the YouTube videos tonight when I put those up. Oh, it's Wednesday? Tonight's ninja school night for the kids. That's convenient. Means I don't have to be done early. Ninja school. Hey, thanks for the ad bits, D-Dub. Ninja School Night. Aaron, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for the Bezo Bucks. And thanks for the 2 months, Dav. Thanks for keeping me around. The Ninja Scroll is not appropriate for children. Ninja School, for people that have heard me talk about it before, it's something one of the local gymnastics places in the town where I live does. It's just like branding to get the boys excited to go to do a gymnastics class. Gave them ninja headbands and have them like run around obstacle courses at the gymnastics center. Does that mean if I sub for 3 years, I'll be flooded every game? You get the exact right amount of land. Do they get no, you really don't want to give my 3-year-old nunchucks. You could probably trust Jake with nunchucks, but definitely not Declan. The Is It build was the better treasures deck, I think. Although the Planeswalker base Esper one was okay by the end, but I think I like the Is It more overall. Young Shaman, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for dropping in today. It's an interesting card. It really speaks to how many modal cards are in this format that this card doesn't see more constructed play. It's got a lot of flexibility on there. How much for a kids with nunchuck stream? Would you categorize Storm of the Vaults as good? I mean, it was less bad than I was expecting. Yeah, if it was instant, it would be really sweet. That's true. We got one Bugle Boy left in our deck to pod chain through here. For those that are newer to Magic, well, that was a rousing success. For those of you that are newer to Magic, you'll often hear Prime Speaker Vannifar referred to by me and other older players as pod or podding a creature when we activate Prime Speaker Vannifar, and that's to pay homage to the card Birthing Pod, which is an old Magic card that Prime Speaker Vannifar resembles. Her activated ability is the same thing that Birthing Pod, which was an artifact, does. Alright, so let's give Tendershoot Dryad the Dirty D here. And then let's go ahead and pod Bugler into Shalai. Shalai is so good in these Vannifar decks because she protects Deputy of Detention and the Prime Speaker Vannifar, which is great. Rude. No, Prime Speaker Vannifar and Birthing Pod actually are both effects that could only be activated at sorcery speed. So you cannot block and then Vannifar it away, unfortunately. So next turn, I'm going to activate this. So we're going to go ahead and fart Incubation Druid. And then we'll use Incubation Druid to cast Growth Chamber Guardian. And then we'll Vannifar the Growth Chamber Guardian into a Deputy of Detentions. And the Deputy of Detention is going to exile these tokens. So that way we have a 3-drop that we don't mind sacrificing to get a 4 next turn. Just wanted to let you know that your stream right now is the background music while I build my son's crib. Congrats. New kid or new crib? We had a couple of folks in here that mentioned they were having new children recently. We actually just went and got, we just ordered big kid beds. First kid, that's exciting. It's an adventure. It's a fun adventure. We just, mine are 5 and almost 4, and we just went and ordered adult bed, or big kid beds for them, twin size beds from their old crib convertible mattresses that they had. think these Pride Mapes are just going to meet a Baffling End and then we're going to attack them a bunch. Declan was incredibly excited. Careful with bunk beds. My kid used them like jumble shapes, broken them. They're like, so we got them separate beds, but they're both like elevated off the floor a little bit, and they have a slide down the side of them. But the bed itself is like shorter than my standing desk, so it's not that tall. Exciting, Zuchin. People are still being timed out for it. Sure. Go get a Cavalier. And then next turn, the Cavalier turns into a Tristani. Sundark time. Thanks for the quarter of year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I swear if you didn't get your kids race car beds, it didn't run a donation goal. They're super excited about the slide beds, okay? Their beds have an actual slide attached to them. They're super pumped about it. Alright. Easy first one there against a bit of a budget deck. We can run into something a little bit, things that are on meta, see how this feels. May this be you. Thanks for the Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Welcome. Yeah, this hand seems super reasonable. Got a turn 2 Incubation Druid, possibly turn 3 Vannifar. Even if they kill my Dork, I can play Dovin or Deputy on 3. Dan the Man. Thanks for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Why is Settle out of the meta? So there's 2 reasons that Settle the Wreckage lost popularity and doesn't see play anymore. The first is that Mono Blue Aggro plays 4 copies of Siren Storm Tamer in the main deck, which counters Settle the Wreckage. The second is that Sultai, the mid-range deck in the format, is a deck that can leverage getting extra lands out of the deck via Hydroid Krasis. Mods only want one thing and it's disgusting. Ain't that the truth? River Snake. Can't be blocked. Gets 1/1 when a fish comes down. Okay. I think Spellbreaker's a non-factor in contributing to the popularity of Settle the Wreckage. Or at least I would be surprised if that was a factor. I think I'm just gonna do this. Like, don't get me wrong, Spellbreaker's definitely good against Settle, but I think those other factors are more important to what pushed it out overall. So I first messaged you after watching Daily for about a month. Can you time me out? Definitely, Dan. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Wednesday wherever you're at. Tap it. It doesn't untap. Man, they tapped her so hard, she's not going to untap. Rude. So we're taking 5 here, down to 12. I'm going to shock down to 6, down to 10. Probably play Incubation Druid plus Deputy next turn. We'll Deputy the River Snake. For the regulars that are wondering why my picture changed, you'll notice you can see the dots for the game, for the current game we're on. So I pushed things around for a functional reason. That way there's more information available to you. I know, I do understand that change is scary though. Appreciate you for sticking around. Yeah, it's about the same. I got rid of the event list that we'd previously had on stream. So gonna need to Prime Speaker Incubation Druid into a Deputy to take Kumena out here. I do need to worry about this, though. So I think the plan is, if I activate this, I can shock this in and then play Dovin down tick to make a blocker. And then this will turn into a Deputy to tag this, and then I'll have Dovin in play next turn plus a bunch of mana, so I can Vivien plus do other stuff. Do I have metrics on the median age of my viewers? Yeah, somewhere. I think it's the median is somewhere in the 24 to 35 range, or whatever that range is, like mid to late 20s to early 30s is what my metrics tell me. Hey, what's going on, Anna? Good afternoon.
There's no accounting for luck. Maybe yours will hold.
So, like, I shocked to get him into play this turn, but he gained me 1, so it's kind of a wash. Next turn, my 1/1 from Dovin will be able to chump block the Weaver, and then my 2 1/3s will keep their 1/1s at bay. Yeah, if they draw the card that taps all of our creatures, shocking unfortunately does lose to that line, but I think it's still correct to take this line. I think this gives us the best chance to win. Oh, I should probably actually kill those sleep commands don't work anymore. Those URLs deactivated earlier this month. Definitely just need to get him out of here. Ideally, we're going to find our way into a Shalai next turn. Dang it. Dang it. That's exactly lethal. Bleh. And this is actually, so it looks like we got a little bit unlucky there, but if you take a step back and think about the cards I saw that game and the cards that this deck is playing versus the Explore package, if that Dovin and those Vivien had been Explore creatures, we could have gotten Wild Growth Walker with this or vice versa, and we would have really been in that game against that aggro deck had we not been playing these Planeswalkers and instead been playing things with better text boxes against them. So it's very easy to write off tough, close losses like that to being unlucky, as opposed to taking a step back and thinking about, well, what about my card selection? That's another choice that matters in a lot of your games. There's a lot of choices that you make in Magic that occur outside of the game that you're in. So it's possible to, like, make all the right decisions in a game and lose and still have lost to a mistake, but it's a mistake that you made during deck building or during sideboarding. Which is one of the things that makes Magic such an interesting and engaging game. There's so many different factors that you have to consider when you're playing, especially if you're trying to analyze what you're doing and get better from it. This hand's a little bit weak, but I'm hoping we draw one of our many 2 or 3 mana creatures in the first couple draws, so that way we can curve them into Prime Speaker. I think keeping a hand with Baffling End of the opener is probably fine here. The 2/4 blocker also isn't irrelevant. One of the other things about this build is that this build doesn't have as many 3 mana creatures that I can Vannifar into like Jadelight Ranger, because I just have Bugler, which makes the curve on the activating Vannifar feel a little bit more awkward. Because I drew a second Baffling End here, I'm actually going to be aggressive with this first one in order to preserve my health total. If I hadn't drawn another one of these, I probably wouldn't have killed their one drop here, but because I have a backup, should they have something like Kumena that I must remove, I think it's fine to be aggressive with the first one. Alright, we got a lot of force. Got a lot of force. Yeah, the overlay extension's A+. Deckmaster is really great. Growth Spiral in their Merfolk deck's really interesting. Not quite sure what they're ramping into necessarily. Yep. This is my 2-4. There are many like it, but this one is mine. When did that come out? It's been out for a long time. Since the closed beta, I believe, even. So that's going to attack me for 4 now. Really hoping we draw a creature that I can activate Vannifar on. A 2 or 3 drop would be great. Well, shoot. I guess this is a game where it would be great if I had access to an Ooze, because Ooze would allow me something to do with my mana, even if I don't draw anything else. I think Lyra's better than Shalai here, but it's pretty close. We really need to draw other creatures that we can activate Vannifar on. Someone mentioned, what are the odds Vannifar becomes a Lizard Frog? We'd love that, right? With the 2 more in our hand. It would be great to just, like, turn it into something useful and be able to play these cards out. If they have a removal spell for Lyra here, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Wonder if it's possible I should have gotten Tristani just because she'd leave behind chump blockers. Woof. So we're gonna take 1, 2, 7, 8, 9 on this attack, down to 5. Well, the Stream Decker extension's been there for a long, long time. Alright, so this... X is 3. This is gonna go fetch a Deputy of Detention, which then leaves me not dead on board, which is nice. This gets rid of the Kumena Speaker. So I need them to draw a brick for the turn. But if they draw a brick, Lyra can maybe get us back into this game. No, so the legend rule... Hey, Mize, thanks for the sub gifty. The legend rule that causes legends to die is checked during what we call state-based action, so you don't get a chance to respond to it. Even Llanowar Elves is great here, because Llanowar Elves goes and turns into Growth Chamber Guardian, which gets another Growth Chamber Guardian and puts that into play. This is quite excellent for us. We're gonna turn the corner here. Needed to fade for that one turn, and it looks like things are looking up, because now we have an endless stream of Deputies of Detention. And Lyra locked our health total up for us, and she was able to get a hit in, so we're not in danger of just getting raced anymore, which is nice. We get to play a game 3 here, it looks like. Was an incredibly satisfying turn, I agree. They're endless Deputies of Detention in the same way you can go to, like, your local seafood place and get endless crab, right? Like, it's technically not endless, but in a practical sense, they're not gonna run out, okay? You're gonna be fed. And yes, I said endless crab on purpose because we're working with Growth Chamber Guardians. Topical. Topical. Growth chain is basically a seafood buffet. Squadron Fiend Hunters. You eat Zoidberg? No, not Zoidberg. Mercy, mercy. I think I'm happy with how we sideboarded. Go ahead and run it back. So we really want a green source on one here. Unfortunately, we don't have it, and turn 2 elf into turn 3 4-drop I think is still keepable. This seems fine. And if they interact with this somehow, we have 3 drops to play, so it seems more than fine. I get to play Vannifar on 3 into this on 4, potted into Lyra on 5. Sounds excellent. Someone mentioned getting Tristani to play around their card that taps our creature and says it doesn't untap. I think we're at a high enough health total right now that that doesn't matter. We're still at 18, so if they want to shut my Lyra off for a turn, it's really not that big of a deal. Do this for 4. Let's pod this into Deputy of Detention. Grab the River Sneaks. Crack them for 9. Got him good. Yeah, it's got to be some combination of a bunch of sleeps to get them out of this, but gonna be too little too late. I did not shoot the sheriff, but we utilized the deputy. Raking in the gold, raking in the gold. Man. If you want to stack up gold for the new set, the events have been really great for that. You only have to go 2 and 2 to break even. So like anytime you go 3-2 or better, you turn a profit. Yeah, outside of Incubation and Conjurity, Merfolk doesn't really have a good way to deal with Vannifar. They just kind of have to out-linear it by being aggressive. Yeah, try and run us into the ground. Well, this is an excellent Hearthstone hand. Unfortunately, this is Magic the Gathering, so we need to mulligan for some lands. Yeah, I think this is catch and release again here. The lands are tapped. There's no green. There's no early plays. This hand is pretty reasonable if we scry into a second land. We're on the draw, so we get 2 more shots. We have 3 shots total at hitting our second land for the Incubation Druid. Perfect. What are the older build? Play the Explore package over. The pile of Planeswalkers that are in this deck, the other configuration we've been playing has the Explore package over. If you look on my website and click standard decks, you'll find my current preferred iteration of Bant Vannifar up there. We've done some laddering with it recently. But if a 3-2 is profit, why can't I register my modern deck? That's true, Telrend. Asking the hard-hitting question. Because you could 4-2 or 5-1. I'm gonna sit down here for the last leg of the stream. Oh. What do we got? They had double tap land. Smelling like Esper control. This is actually a matchup where Vannifar herself isn't very good just because they're going to kill their way through a lot of our stuff. So our board is often going to be kind of small. Yeah, the Angels decks are just absurdly good against mono blue. If you have a burning hatred for blue aggro, the Angels configurations are great. The Planeswalkers we've been talking about that I'm not a huge fan of compared to the Wild Growth Walker package should be better than the Wild Growth Walker package here. So I'm actually excited to play against Esper to see how this feels versus those other ones. Because having extra sources of card advantage are ideal in a matchup like this. I think I'm going to go ahead and play Prime Speaker Vannifar this turn. Because that way, if they counter this is more likely to resolve. And if we can play and activate this, we start generating card advantage with it. We really need a way to start generating some more 2-for-1s in this matchup to make up for the fact that we mulligan to 5 to start. So I would not be too surprised to see Vannifar die or see them untap and cast Kaya's Wrath. And by that, I mean nice island. Good luck casting Kaya's Wrath. Why is the Angels deck good against mono blue? So the reason why the Angels deck is good against mono blue is because it has a lot of reasonably costed flying creatures to block with. So the best ways to beat the mono blue deck are either blocking it inside of combat or by racing it, both of which the Angels deck is able to do on average. Playing a bunch of removal spells, trying to play through their spell pierces and dive downs is generally not a good plan. But when you only have to worry about like the retorts and their captures, and those cost 2 mana, you have a lot more play to what's going on. Well, I also repeat the question, and you do this when you're teaching too, so everyone can hear it, right? Because not everybody's reading chat. The getting a second to think is a bonus for that, though. The kid in the back who wasn't paying attention, they didn't hear the question that got asked, and maybe they're interested in the answer. Go ahead and pass here. If they cast Chemist's Insight like this, I'm going to activate this before they get to untap. Because remember, you don't want to activate this while your opponent has removal spell, potentially. Because if they kill this in response to adapting, you're not going to get the trigger and get a friend out of your deck. They were lucky enough to teach middle school. No, I student taught high school for a semester, and then I've taught at a variety of different college campuses as an adjunct. My oldest starts grade school in the fall, though. That should be fun. Just did kindergarten registration with him. If they don't have a cast down here, we should be pretty okay. We want them to not be able to prevent us from killing Teferi. However, if they can protect their Teferi here, we're going to be in a pretty bad spot. Drawing a Growth Chamber Guardian there is just the stone cold worst. Just like that. That is not what we wanted out of our draw step. Although, the fact that I drew another one does mean I can be a little bit loose with this activation. Because, like, now I can activate it, they'll kill it in response thinking they're getting me. And then I have this one in my hand. There's the black source for the Kaya's Wrath. Okay, so we're going to get to gas back up here a little bit. And remember, this is a game where we mulligan to 4 to start, or 5 to start. We're still grinding a little bit through this Planeswalker and this Sweeper. There's my stuff. Good luck, Godspeed. Probably not beating another Wrath from this position. Need to get to the post-board games where we get some counter spells in our deck. That was not a Vivien. Anything but a Vivien. We're done here. Alright. I think we actually are supposed to board out copies of Vannifar in this matchup. I think she leaves a little bit to be desired on average a lot of the time. Harpooner's okay here. Shalai protects our planeswalkers. Deputy of Detention doesn't seem stellar. They have lots of ways to kill it. Maybe I trim 1 mana creature. Another 25 creature, I'm gonna trim a Bugler. Maybe I cut all the Buglers and just play Prime Speaker. Nah, I think I just want to be just like a Bant mid-range deck with on the backs of these planeswalkers and Krasis. So the main reason I set up this configuration is the number of resilient creatures against sweepers. I didn't think of the Explore package. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of resilient threats in here. The Explore package is like resilient in a way in the fact that like the Explore creatures are often drawing you lands, so like they're creatures that replace themselves when they come into play. It's one of the reasons why they're so good. The Explore package just adds an absurd amount of consistency to these decks too. It's able to like hit your land drops most game or filter through spells that you're not interested in or aren't helpful at the given point. Vannifar only searches up creatures. Another awkward, no green on 1, but definitely still a keep. Gosh, this hand would be great if we had green on 1, just like Elf into Bugler on the play. Hopefully Bugler's going to be able to hit. We don't have that. There's only 21 creatures in my deck at the moment, and a couple of them have more than 2 power. It's a decent pickup because it means even if they kill Mr. Llanowar here, we still get to play Bugler next turn. I think if they don't kill the elf, I'm probably going to shock in. They boarded in Duress. That's strange. I think I'm going to shock in this Hallowed Fountain and play the Bugler, because I think dealing 2 to myself to deal 1 to them is a worthwhile exchange for us. Please hit. Please hit. Please hit. Heavy is the head that wears the headset, chat. Immediately draw a card that the Bugler could have hit. It's like four non-hits. Hit, hit, hit. What a tilt. What a tilt. Like, if their control deck has a removal spell here, they get to, like, kill my Krasis and then start generating advantage with this Thief of Sanity. And they're still at 17 here, so I'm not really sure we're going to be able to overcome this. Especially with missed land drops and our value creatures just not generating value. Yeah, right, dude, like... Did you hear the one about if the control deck had the removal spell? Haha. Oh. And like the problem here is that even if I hold up this negate, they're just like smacking me with my own Thief of Sanity, which means they're drawing a bunch of creatures off of my deck. So like holding this negate up isn't even very exciting because they're just gonna like be able to play into it and not get punished. I'm just gonna be not using my mana. Whatever they took last turn, they think is better than Dovin. Obviously, they can't take Tristani because I would get her back. That's true. If they keep missing land drops, that's one of the ways we can beat them. Putting big dorks into play and then beating them down. Maybe this negate actually gets us out of things. I guess the fact that there's no explore creatures in our deck is good for us in the sense that it's hard for them to generate double spell turns. Do I negate and absorb here? Do I negate and absorb? Mortify. I think I'm supposed to fight over this. I think I'm just supposed to, like, accept that we die to land Kaya's Wrath. These are my 4/3s. Embrace them. At least our board's really stacked against Cry, which was the card that kind of put us out of the last game. Got that going for us. Oh, that gets to gain them 4. And it blocks our Bugler. And that's a tilt. Ugh.
On your impending failure.
If they block with Hostage Taker, they're playing stock Esper Control, Punchworthy. They're playing stock Esper Control. Don't you tell me their deck is sweet. Sacrilege. Burn the Heretic. Because they have a 2/3. 2/3 attacking into a 2/3 doesn't really accomplish anything.
This is no mere trinket.
Figure it out. Yeah, the Mardu Angels deck was great yesterday. It was the deck of the day for a reason. So I think I put Incubation Druid into play here because it will be a threat that could be lethal next turn. Do I play into Kaya's Wrath? I think I'm supposed to play this because if they have more spot removal, I need more creatures in play. And if they do hit Kaya's Wrath, I have this as a follow-up along with Dovin to generate advantage. The awkward part here is if they Kaya's Wrath on this board, they actually gain 2 because they have 2 creatures. They have a lot of cards in their hand here, so if we win this, it's going to be because we get under them, not because we play through it. So hopefully they keep missing on lands, and we're able to leverage that. That was an incredibly good draw. So I was going to activate this right away, but the fact that we drew Negate means let's just, you know, hang tight for a second. If they have a 2-mana creature over here, plus a 2-mana removal spell, or a land and a 3-mana removal spell, we could get in trouble for waiting on this. But I think it's right to wait on this, so that way we can beat a Kaya's Wrath. Hostage Takers, whatever. That's incredibly rude. That is incredibly rude. All right, didn't get cast down. I'd say if we got hit by cast down there, we were real dead.
Fired by a good assault.
All right, your move. This is all I got. Maybe like land Wrath Negate here. I guess land Hostage Taker is also good. Stop it. We do it? Did we get a game 3? Man, Esper Control and Miss land drops. Name a more iconic duo, chat. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and run it back. Habzan Hero and Do Black Source. Rude. Rude. Esports ready. This thing's great. Turn to Dovin ban. Let's go. Hey. Oh. God, this stupid duress. Rude. Rude. I was ready to go. And then we got turn 2 duress. Alright, so we got turn 3 Vivien. We're setting our sights on turn 3 Vivien. Thought erase. God bless America, my country. 'Tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of the icing. We were playing Gates when we watched the State of the Beta video. This is just incredibly rude. This is, for those of you at home who are taking notes, you should make sure to leave your critical planeswalkers on top of your deck until you are ready to cast them. Having them in your hand is a liability, as exemplified here. Land cry. Ooh, didn't get cried. That's a good start. It's a good start. Alright, shock this in, play this, attack for 1. That's true. Thief was not Phage for once. And sometimes when they miss on land drops, Thief doesn't automatically win the game, which is nice. If you tried not getting duress, I agree that seems like the better play a lot of the time. I'm confused as to why they played into this. Maybe they didn't read Tristani. Feels like they didn't read Tristani. The Dovin voice line about comedy of errors, just incredibly on point. They got 2 lines in and got bored. Ooh. Here, just do this for 3.
Constantly seek to innovate.
Why would that Wrath be a mistake, dude? Light? Casting a Wrath to kill my entire board seems real good. the Centaur. No, the fact that they were setting up to Kaya's Wrath me makes playing the Centaur make a lot of sense. So I could plus Dovin, attack with both of these, connect and get Dovin to 7. But I think with Stroke and Negate in my hand, I just want to play it a little bit slowly. Because if I leave both these 2/2s in play, the Hostage Taker can't attack Dovin. Maybe the fact that they have my Krasis coming off means I can't afford to play it slow. Good, I could see that. Well, this attack seems really good for me. I would love to trade one of these for yours. Because now I get to plus... Now their Hostage Taker's gone, and I get to plus Dovin to 7 this turn. So I need them to not have Vraska's Contempt plus a counterspell for my Negate, or discard spell plus Vraska's Contempt. And then I get to downtick my Dovin and maybe stay in this game. Definitely a little bit behind at the moment. So Teferi and Contempt are both bad for us here. Hopefully that was a reading Dovin's ultimate mouse over and not a we're about to kill this mouse over. I guess if they Teferi downtick, I get to kill their Teferi, and then it's 3 cards versus my board. 3 of your finest Magic the Gathering cards, please. Sure.
I was confident this would work. Again, I am proven right.
Wow, those are bad. So I have... do these. Maybe I'm supposed to take the Dryad there. Maybe I'm supposed to take the Dryad there. Yeah, I think I messed up. I should have taken the Dryad there and played the Dryad as a 4/3. And then I'd have them dead on board with the Negate. I should do this now. So I have to kill them over 2 turns. It does feel kind of bad to shuffle those 7 mediocre cards back into my deck. Huh. The Thief of Sanity being played out, I think, is a good indication for us because it likely means that they don't have a sweeper. Unless they're just trading here. No, they're just eating that. That's fine. I think I'm just not playing around a sweeper at this point. I want to play around like Hostage Taker and removal spells. It's possible that I should play the Incubation Druid here as opposed to the Growth Chamber Guardian. The Incubation Druid's only 1 less point of power, and it's still a lethal attacker, but it saves the Growth Chamber Guardian in my hand to go find a friend should they have a sweeper. Yeah, Growth Chamber Guardian's great. The card is very powerful. And once the Wild Growth Walker package rotates out, it's definitely going to be like the stock best screen 2-drop. See if they can find their 3rd Kaya's Wrath here or not. And, you know, however many cards. The top half of their deck. Yeah, I think I should have played Incubation Druid rather than Growth Chamber Guardian there. I should have kept this in my hand. So that way I could have someone that could fetch a friend. Hopefully this is, I have nothing and I'm hoping to find a meaningful hit off of your deck attack. And not, I'm gonna Kaya's Wrath you after I hit you and draw a card. Yeah, I'm happy with how I played there except that last play. Please concede. Yeah, really done it. We did it. Loady. We got him. Let's play one more match here, maybe two more before we wrap things up for the day. Thanks for fraying out today. Hope you're having a great Wednesday wherever you're at. Yeah, this is fine. Not amazing, but fine. I don't think Lyra was in my deck. Lyra boards out against Esper. It's worth noting, like, we were talking about the difference between this and the build on my site. And Dovin was very good there, right? Like, Dovin's ultimate is single-handedly the reason we won that game. Definitely pulled us through sweepers and a lot of removal and interaction. Yep. This might be a little aggressive. If they have, like, Hostage Taker next turn, I'm going to be incredibly sad. Jonesy, thanks for the Prime support. Hope you're having a good one. Welcome. They don't have a Hostage Taker. I get to get Shalai down to protect my Deputy, which would be great. Yeah, we're probably dead. Yeah, we toggled sub only on last week. I've been rocking it. Still had a good rate of conversation, a lot less clutter. But it felt like a positive change overall. Maybe even drawing Tristani at this point doesn't do anything. This is the tough part about playing these Bant decks. You just, like, don't have good tools against Hostage Taker. You don't have real removal. In order to get your stuff back, you have, like, Baffling End and a Prayer. Disdainful Strokes are probably good. Lyra Dawnbringer is not fantastic. She just gets shot. Yeah, I agree, J Sims. I think the quality of the content overall is just higher. It's been a real positive overall. The results of the sub-survey seemed like people were happy with it too. So, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's hard to super predict trends on Twitch without having a few weeks of data, because, like, people's subs don't fall off for a month. So, if people are unhappy with the change and unsub because of it, it'll take me a little while to know. Plan on keeping things sub-only until probably the end of April, and then we'll reassess then. But if the numbers stay reasonable, we'll probably just leave it as is. I've been enjoying it. Egorus, thanks for the Prime support. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. I appreciate it. Whoop. No green mana, easy mulligan. This hand's missing blue, but, like, the spells in it are good, and if we hit a blue source, it's, like, off to the races. Keep that right there, actually. Turn 2 Bugle Boy. Actually, do I want to turn 2 Bugle Boy, or do I want to set up for turn 3 Conclave? I'm going to set up for turn 3 Conclave. And unlike the Esper matchup, where I thought it was worth it to shock myself to attack for 1, I think in this matchup I'm better off being conservative with my health total. Because the Assault deck can generate really aggressive lines sometimes. Well, shoot. Alright, at least we hit there. Bugler has not been kind to us so far today. Grafner, thanks for the 6 months. I appreciate the support. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Opponent also bumbling here. We hit the land, which is nice, even if it's not blue. Cavalier here. The scary part about them getting to 3 is that unlocks Jade Light Ranger for them, which means it makes it less likely that they continue to stumble. Like I mentioned earlier about these Explorer creatures, just add an absurd level of consistency to every deck you put them in. Just getting to see that many extra cards for your land drops, the spells you're looking for is huge. Yeah, not surprised to see that trade there. I think I just want a Bugler. I'm going to take the Krasis here, even though I'm missing blue mana. I think that's the type of effect I'm looking for at this point. If they hit a land here... Okay, so they might Jade Light into a land. We really want them to brick twice. Which, again, they would have bricked off longer, but these Jade Lights just powering them through these land drops. And we don't have the similar cards, so give us the same consistency. Have a good one, Vault Bros. Catch you later. Alright, so that draw means I'm going to go ahead and Deputy this Incubation Druid. Just get that out of there. They could cast down this Deputy in response if they have it. We might have successfully unstumbled before they did. They need, like, Blue Source Hostage Taker here to have a real shot. I'm gonna go ahead and adapt this now, so that way they can't try and kill it in response to the adapt with the Contempt. I want this Disdainful Stroke up this turn. That's unfortunate. This keeps Incubation Druid out of Finality range, which is really nice. They run in multiple strokes as well. Good to know. I have 8 mana, so this is 9 mana. Right? Yep, 9. So this is X is 7. Hey, Darth Story with the giant tip. Thank you for the support. Haven't watched your stream or YouTube channel in a while, but I wanted to donate for the incredible influence you were to me when I played Kiki in Modern. Because of you, you're a hero. Keep up the work. Well, thank you for the generosity, Darth. I really appreciate that. If you're a Kiki fan like me and you haven't tried out the Vannifar Chord deck yet in Modern, I would heavily encourage you to do so. It is incredibly awesome. Really, really loved all my time spent playing that archetype so far. Now, unfortunately, if I play Tristani, I can't hold up Stroke, so I think I just pass. Here's the best MTG content creator on the web. Thank you for the 10 months, Forgotten Glory, and thanks for the compliment. Hope you're having a good one. Alright, heading to game the 3rd. Opponent bumbled a little bit there, and it was good for us. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 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 Hopefully have another good game to wrap things up on. Kianjo, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Any tips on how to avoid being toxic when losing streak? I don't even mean my opponent. I guess I mean tilting on arena. Change the scenery. Change your deck. Change your format. Take a break. One of the reasons why I'm so excited to get a new non-rotating format on Arena in the fall is because one of the best things about Magic is it's so many different mini games. So like right now on Arena, if you're someone who enjoys Limited, if you're having a bad beat with Limited, go play some Constructed. If you're having a bad beat with Constructed, go play some Limited. And if you're an all Constructed aficionado like me, right now you just kind of got to pump the brakes and wait for a new format if you're not into Moto too. A little variety in my experience, at least for me personally, is the best way that I deal with frustration. Yeah, being in a mindset to have a good expectation about what you're doing too is important too. Like we talk a lot about on this stream about, you know, you'll hear me say Magic's got a ton of variance in it a lot, right? That's not only for the people at home, but that's a reminder for myself too. If you're putting all of your self-worth into winning at games of Magic, it can often feel like you're stupid or bad or not a good person if like you're not doing well. It's very easy to like tie how you feel to your results in this game. Because Magic's a game that a lot of us love, and it's very easy to get very heavily invested in it. Would Excellence Bindings be good here to target their Explore package creatures? I'm not sure about that.
Time to step out of the shadows.
So I assume my Deputy is dead here. Magic is life, but also draw 20 lands and die. Yep. Really? They killed my druid. Interesting. Huh. That's a good draw. Think I just do that now? Is that even that good here? And this is one of the awkward things about, like, not having the Explorer package. I feel like the biggest thing between this deck and the other build of Vannifar that I played, I feel like I'm short on creatures to, like, activate Vannifar with in a lot of these games. Like, I keep drawing Vannifar and not having creatures that I actually want to turn into other creatures. I think I'm going to shock this in and attack Incubation Druid into this Vraska. This means I get free eats on the Kraul Harpooner. Or I kill the Vraska. Either way seems good for me. This is a little awkward if they have a removal spell for my Druid, but we're both kind of tight on mana. And this gives me a lot more mana for next turn, right? Because, like, now I have... Ugh, that's brutal. Alright, I mean, I guess the fact that I have this Tristani in my hand makes this a little bit less bad. So I, like, get to play Prime Speaker next turn, and then the following turn I can play Tristani and, like, get my Incubation Druid back after they cast it. Don't you have the same outcome if you Tristani and then swing with the Deputy? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I like your line better, Shirak. My line gave me more mana the following turn, but your line puts my Tristani into play, which develops my board more. So I think that's a little bit better. I agree with your suggestion.
How this thing goes, I've seen things that would break someone like you.
Yeah, and again, just like, I guess I could turn this Deputy of Detention into something else, but like, I guess there's just an elf under here, so I go get a thing. And like, do I get, like, I boarded out my Lyra, there's no ooze in this deck, so like, I don't even like, and now this just gets shot by Vivien, so like, I don't even have good things to go get. So, like, I feel like this deck's not leveraging Vannifar as well as most of the Vannifar decks I've tried. Like, I keep feeling like I have Vannifar in play and I have nothing to do with it. All of these planeswalkers instead of extra threats are really kind of clunky with it in that regard.
Restoration was painless.
And like the match we won against Esper, right? We actually won that match just cutting the Vannifars and being a Bant mid-range deck. So like I feel like this is the Planeswalkers are interesting. We actually have a Bant Planeswalker deck coming up at some point in the queue, but I feel like this deck would be better situated trying to be a Bant Planeswalker deck as opposed to like this weird, we jammed Vannifar in here and we don't have a ton of synergies to go along with it. Although we might win on the back of these Hydroid Krasis if permitted. This is pretty good for us. If they don't have, the problem here is as soon as they find a way to kill Tristani, we're gonna be dang it, Bobby. Dang it. Stupid Vivien Reids into more Vivien Reids. They did the dance. They did the Tristani dance. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Maybe this Krasis will draw us the third Krasis. That's our hope. Because this is getting shot by this, so it's drawing 3 cards before it does so, though. stupid 4-for-1s, their stupid faces. And like, again, like, I drew 2 Prime Speaker Vannifiers, and I feel like I should be excited about that, but like, I'm looking at these Prime Speaker Vannifiers and going, well, I don't really have anything meaningful to do with them.
Sometimes restoration means retribution.
Yeah, we're just not going to be able to power through this, Vivien. What are the odds that Tristani Dance will become the typing in the timer of MTGA? Unsure. Yeah, so my takeaway from this deck was that this was a much worse Vannifar deck than the other Vannifar decks that I've played, just between the spell and creature selection that it has. But as far as, like, Bant mid-range goes, it didn't seem bad. Like, our match against Esper Control, the Bant-type things we were doing did not feel unreasonable. And there's probably worthwhile Bant mid-range shells to be exploring within the format. That being said, if you want to see my preferred Vannifar list, I guess I can pull it up here on stream really quick. I think this is the one. This is pretty close to what's on my website, I believe. So you'll note the big difference is there's no Planeswalkers, and we got that Wild Growth Walker package. We don't have Growth Chamber Guardians or Incubation Druid. We have the Wild Growth Walker package, and then we've got a little bit more top end here, an extra Conclave Cavalier, a Biogenic Ooze. So we basically have more to be doing with our Prime Speaker Vannifiers, so we can lean into that being a meaningful effect for us more often. That's gonna be it for me for today. I actually ran a little bit late today because we had a really awesome audience. Thanks everyone for hanging out. If you're new, thank you for the follows. As always, a shout out to my subs and resubs. I wouldn't be here day to day without their support. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with some more Magic Online to kick things off into Arena starting about 9:30. If you want to see more from me now, you can check out my website and my YouTube channel for tons of great content there. If you want to stay here on Twitch, I'm going to go ahead and find someone streaming some more Standard Constructed to give a host to. So catch all y'all later, and everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday. All right, who's on? Talarian is on. Let's host him. He's fun. He's good people.